Sing-Wa salute. I'm Lord Matre, the hip-hop futurist. You're now tuned into the Super Longevity Institute podcast. This evening, I got a very special guest. I know I say that all the time, and I mean it all the time. I got one half of Cannibal Ox, Vast Aire. I know you know about the Cold Vein, Pigeon, Raspberry Fields.
Yes.
Harlem Nights. They just did that. That video was sick. I killed that. Yo, I was like, yo.
No. First of all, much love to Super Longevity. They don't even know we got a history. We got to break it down for them. You know what I mean? But much love. I love my hood. Much love to Harlem, Uptown. We here. It's 2021, year of the Middle Ox. I'm live in Paris. I got the tower behind me right now. You know what I mean? So like I'm just repping. I fly back home Monday from Belgium. So it's good that we could get this done and just rep the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope, man. I know you was in Belgium before you got to Paris, right?
Yes, I landed in Belgium and I've been in Antwerp and in Brussels back and forth.
Wow.
Working on music and doing interviews and just getting the history straight. It's been 20 years, Cold Vein, so.
Wow. Happy 25th anniversary, my brother. Wow.
Yeah. In 20 years, I can't even believe, I'm 43, so that's half my life. You know what I mean? So it's a powerful album. It impacted a lot of people, and I'm just here to rep, and we got a lot of new music in store. I just kids, we going hard,
Wow. Let me just, we do go way back, man. I remember back in the day, I used to work at a bookstore called East West Books. Back in the day, yo. Right? People be thinking I be lying when I be telling them these stories, yo.
Yo, you was there. Like, you was in East West Books. We used to tutor children.
In Harlem. Yeah.
You go back, you was always a righteous dude, an activist, like you was out there. You was in that great hip hop group, Fifth Column.
Yeah, shout out to Chasm, no doubt.
Shout out to Kaz. So it's just like you was always. We used to go to Uhuru meetings together.
Yeah, damn. Yeah.
Shout out to Uhuru. Yes. Shout out to Dead Prez. Shout out to Head Rush.
Yes. Wow.
That was a serious movement.
Yeah. Damn, yo.
Reese was 5 seconds from being on Cold Vein.
No doubt.
There's like 3 or 4 people that should have been on Cold Vein, and you're one of them.
Yo, Cold Vein was sick.
Yeah, man.
Hold on, Vast. I think I got that here too. Hold on, I got other people. I can't just. I can't. Hold on.
Here we go.
Commercial. That's YouTube for you. Oh, no, this is the performance. Yo. This was crazy. I seen this. Hold on.
No, this is the single. Yeah.
This is the single? It is?
That's the single. Yeah. That's not the performance.
Okay.
The performance is on YouTube. That's the instrumental.
Hip-hop distribution.
That's an instrumental, right?
That's the instrumental.
This is crazy,
On a suggested.
Yo, when I heard this, yo, I said, yo, they got a different sound, yo. I said, the rapper, I was like, yo, you and Vordle? Shout out to Vordle.
Yo, shout out to Mega, hold me down, 139. Word up. Is 115, Vordle is 139. We always rep Lenox Avenue, crack clavicle. Word up. That's us. We always rep. We love Harlem. No matter where we live, we them kids that lived all over New York.
No doubt. That's a fact.
But Harlem is special to us.
No doubt.
Harlem is unique.
No doubt.
I started rhyming in Queens.
Wow.
I was 10 years old.
Wow.
1988 in Jamaica, Queens.
Wow.
You know what I mean? My granddad is Jamaican.
That's right.
I mean, Jamaican Gullah Geechee. That's a whole half of my family. Then the other half of my family is Choctaw. So I got an interesting history just, growing up in the city, but having a connection to Alabama, Arkansas, and the Carolinas because of our Gullah Geechee Jamaican roots.
Right. That's crazy.
Florida. A couple of my old people come from Florida, so I know we got Seminole in us.
No doubt.
So it's a crazy lineage, you know what I mean? That can, I can trace. But my New York lineage starts from Mount Vernon. You know what I mean? Shout out to Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Shout out to Heavy D.
Right.
Okay. Vast Aire represents that same area. Shout out to Denzel Washington. I don't really talk about this, but now that my mom is gone, I like to share, this. My mom used to date Denzel Washington. My father used to crack about it with me. He used to joke about it with me all the time.
Wow.
So I spoke about this with my mother, my uncles, my aunts, and my dad. Okay? And what's funny is Denzel ended up meeting Vordle Mega's brother at like a boys and girls club type of after school program.
Wow.
And I was like, Shamar, he dated my mom, and we was dying. So it always was a joke, like which one dated her? Was it the training day one or So that was a joke. Rest in peace to my mom.
Yes.
And shout out to Mount Vernon, New York.
Yes, no doubt, yo. Rest in peace to your moms, yo.
I was born in Mount Vernon. You can look it up. There was a huge blizzard when I was born. It's the blizzard of 78. Look, that blizzard.
Here,
I was born in that. I'm February 5th, 1978.
That's crazy. That's a crazy. Yo.
That blizzard rocked the East Coast. If you was in Boston, Delaware, New York, like New Jersey, Philadelphia, if you was on the East Coast, you know about that blizzard.
Wow.
And Vast Aire came in that blizzard. Word up.
That's crazy.
I was born in Mount Vernon, and by the time I was like 4, we moved to the Bronx.
Mm.
My mom is a Mount Vernon girl. My dad is from the Bronx.
Mm. That's right there.
Right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yonkers, all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now Rule, shout out to Brand Nubian.
No doubt.
Now Rule is a code for New Rochelle.
New Rochelle, no doubt.
So all of that is New York City. That's very close to the Bronx.
No doubt.
Just so the listeners can catch up with us. Because we live this. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was born in Mount Vernon, grew up in the Bronx. I'd say I hit Queens. I hit Jamaica, Queens about 8. And 2 years after that, I started rhyming. It was 1988. I'll never forget it because No Half Steppin' was the last draw for me.
Yeah, that was the joint too. That was an ill year for the culture.
I loved hip hop. I loved what everybody was doing. But when No Half Steppin' came out,
no doubt,
I had to write. And I was 10 years old. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I like giving that backstory so they don't think it was all Harlem.
Right.
And all Brooklyn. That's later in my life.
Right.
So now, as we getting older, I would say when I'm hitting about 12 to 13, that's when I hit Harlem. So now I'm going through puberty in Harlem.
Right.
That's why Harlem is so important to me.
Right.
Because it's where I became a man.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
So, and it's where I really started to hone in on my writing. You know, when I started in Queens, I was a novice. I was a beginner. Lost a lot of battles. Was struggling with making stories or telling a continuous story. So I had to work hard as a writer to get all of that laid out.
No doubt.
And Harlem is a part of that development.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, man, because Harlem is a special place to me too.
Harlem and Brooklyn, because I zigzagged.
Right.
I hit Harlem, but then I hit Albany Projects for like 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Remember when I was in Albany?
Wow.
If you think you're going to be like, yeah, Vash was there. I was in Albany Projects for like 3 years. My sister is a Decept. Sister is a Decepticon.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm God body. That's probably the only thing you can attach me to. But my sister is a Decept. Anybody that's real, they know Cream, Tora, my sister Tora.
Whoa. Tora? That sounds familiar. Did she go to graphic arts?
Oh, man. She might have.
That name sounds familiar, yo.
There was a time where we didn't live together, so she could have went to graphic arts.
Okay.
You know how it is with our zoning in New York.
Yeah.
When you live in a different place, you could go to a different high school.
Right.
It ain't even. It's nothing.
Right.
You know, but you could be a block off and you can't go to that high school because their cutoff was 130 and you live on 131st.
No doubt.
That's how a lot of best friends got split up.
Yeah.
because your best friend was 10 blocks up. He couldn't go to your high school.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing in a way. Because you had friends coming back with new friends from other schools.
Yeah, yo.
Our era is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't even know really. You know what I mean? They have like a glimpse of our era from like, you know.
Yeah.
You
went to
had to
Washington
be.
Irving, right?
Yeah, I'm an Irving kid.
You know, I almost went there too. I almost went to that school.
I'm
I
a
was like, I don't know
Irving.
nobody there. I was like, I don't.
I'm a Irving kid, and I'm a humanities kid.
Oh, okay.
I did humanities for summer school. And I got to shout out my first one, Jamaica High.
Wow.
I was in Jamaica High for like 2 months. Before the 3rd month, I went to Washington Irving because I was in Harlem. You know what I mean?
Wow. When did you meet Vernon?
Okay, now this is how it gets interesting. I met Mega in Irving. I met Vaudel Mega in Irving, and at the time, I was cool with his cousin who was from Brooklyn. This real dope dude named Alley Cat. Shout out to Alley Cat. He's in Oakland right now. He got a family and all. Shout out to him. I used to rhyme with him and freestyle with him. And then Shamar came up to the cypher one day. And he was like, this is my cousin. I didn't even know they was related, but I saw Shamar around the school. That's how we got close, because Alley Cat lived in Brooklyn, I lived in Harlem, and Shamar lived in Harlem. Fort Omega. He lived in Harlem. So that's how we got close. We started going home together.
Wow.
And that's the birth of Cannibal Ox.
Wow.
Now, then I already had a crew that I was around, and it was building. And that's how we got down with Adams. And Chasm was an original member of that.
No doubt.
So that's how you're connected to the Adams fam history and the Cannibal Ox history.
No doubt.
Because you and Chasm were in 5th column.
Yeah.
You know, and another gem is Chasm was connected to LP.
Yeah.
Because L used to date Chasm's sister. So that's a lot of history that we have that's intertwined. And I just want the fans to get it right. Get it from the horse's mouth.
That's a fact, yo. That's right.
You don't gotta guess. You could be like, yo, they did an interview and he said this. It's simple.
Yep.
Chasm was there. LP was there. You know, Super Longevity was there. IGC was there. We were there. We were all there. You know, fans need to know there was a lot of shows. There was a lot of activism. And you have always been on the forefront of, we gotta eat better. We gotta do better. You've always been on the forefront of that movement.
Yeah, much respect. Thank you, Vaz.
To see you 20 years later and you have this great podcast, it's much respect.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And man, yo, when you got up with LP and y'all started making that music was different, man. It's still nothing that could compare to that. When did LP find out that y'all rap?
We met L at a party Shout out to Saya and Yishwa.
Mm.
We we met LP at a Saya and Yishwa party
Wow.
somewhere in Brooklyn. It was a We Be Foolish party.
Mm.
And that party had the Indelible MCs and it had some Adams there.
Mm.
And that's how we met. We were in ciphers with them
Mm.
for a few months before we even had a conversation.
Wow.
So they knew us just off a rap.
Right.
We didn't even say, hello, my name is Billy.
Wow.
It was just like we were in ciphers with some of the biggest underground people at the time, and we could hold our own weight.
No doubt. Wow.
So after like the third or fourth cipher, you start trading names and trading numbers, and I got real good with the Juggernauts and Len,
Right.
and Mega got good with L.
Mm.
It was a separate thing.
Wow.
And then I was telling him how great the Juggernauts were, and he was telling me how great Company Flow was in LP.
Yeah.
So then Mega was gonna go meet L, and he asked me to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how me and L got cool.
Wow.
We had been in ciphers before, but we wasn't talking to each other.
Right.
So it was Mega and L. They got tight like 2 months before me. But I was real tight with the Juggernauts before Mega.
Right.
Shout out to Breesley Brewing.
Mm.
Because I had met them in '95 when they did Rocksteady
Mm.
with Fab Five Freddy on MTV.
Wow.
That's when I met them. I ain't even know who LP was.
Wow.
So the first out of the Indelibles that I met was the Juggernauts. Then we met Company Flow. Then we met J Treads.
Wow.
That's how that worked.
Wow.
And I toured with BMS. If you're a Company Flow fan, you know who BMS is by myself.
Right.
I toured with him.
Mm.
He was on some of the earlier tours. But BMS,
Right.
the dark skinned dude, mad
Right.
dope. He had mad dope style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So shout out to him. If he's listening, that's my homie. You know what I mean?
How
Hit
was
me
those
up,
earlier
BMS.
tours? Like, how was those earlier tours like when you first
Um,
started going out on the road when Cobain first dropped?
the earlier tours were amazing.
Mm.
I didn't expect to receive such a warm welcome.
Wow.
You know, it was kind of surreal when you're doing 8,000, 10,000 crowds. I'm a dude that did like packed 350, 500 people rooms.
Right.
So for me to get in front of 10,000, 8,000, it was like, whoa.
Mm.
And to see people moshing to my music and, girls taking their shirts off and it was crazy. It was just like, wow, y'all really love this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was dope.
And that was all over the world,
Wow.
Japan, Paris, where I am right now, Belgium,
Belgium. Wow.
uh, Germany
Germany.
loved
Germany is
us.
dope too. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I
Yeah.
did like I've done like 5, maybe 7 spots in
Yeah.
Germany.
Wow.
Like I've hit up various places in one country, so I'm able to see my fan base like,
Right.
wow, it's surreal.
Yeah.
But I worked hard.
That's right. That's right.
I worked real hard. So you better like this album like that.
Yeah. That's a fact, yo. Blood,
I
sweat, and tears
worked
went into that.
when that
The
woman
creativity.
is slaving over that meal, sweating, you better love that food.
That's a fact.
And I sweated. I sweated over the mixing. I sweated over our content. You know, we already said that. Let's say something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many times you gonna say the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
We said that on 3 songs already.
Yeah.
Let's up the level. Let's get vulnerable. Let's
Yeah.
tell the truth.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Let's tell the truth. Everybody's not Superman.
Yeah.
Somebody caught a bullet and they didn't get back up.
That's a fact.
Everybody is not 50 Cent
That's a fact.
or Uncle Murder or French Montana. And I'm bringing my brothers up to say that they got shot and they're still here.
Right.
Okay? So I wanted to just tell the truth.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And
Every drug dealer
mm,
doesn't make it out.
that's a fact.
So I wanted to just be honest.
Mm,
Like I remember Ice-T one time, he said, if I don't never hear the pain, I can't trust nothing you're saying.
that's right.
So shout out to Ice-T. He was trying to say these dudes get on the mic now and all they do is like
Yeah.
brag.
Yeah.
But we can only trust the bragging when you're really honest about when you had nothing.
Facts.
If you can be honest about I hit the wrong highway one night and they pulled me over and that was that.
Right.
If you could be honest about that, then we'll trust some of the bragging.
Right. Right. Right.
But when it's all bragging, you didn't have to bail nobody out.
Yeah.
Nobody got shot.
Yeah.
Nobody got their
You didn't
face.
take no losses. You didn't take no losses? Come on. Everybody
You
takes
took
losses.
no losses?
Everybody takes losses. That's a fact.
So, when we're listening to the music and we don't hear no losses,
Yeah, yo.
Scarface is going to give you losses.
Yeah. Man, he sure is.
Jay-Z is going to give you losses.
Yeah.
Cannibal Ox is going to give you losses.
No doubt.
We just want to be honest. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down.
That's a fact.
And that's anywhere. So we just wanted to bring another side to the hood.
Yeah.
And we wanted to show the beast that Nas and Wu-Tang and NWA and Public Enemy, y'all created Cannibal Ox.
No doubt.
There would be no Cannibal Ox without Public Enemy, Wu-Tang,
No doubt.
Cypress Hill, A Tribe Called Quest, and EPMD.
No doubt. All fire artists.
But I'm just giving respect to who we grew up on.
Yeah.
And it was all a direct or an indirect inspiration. Yeah. So I'm not gonna sit here like I was in a box and I put lightning in a bottle.
No doubt.
I'm giving homage that there were great musicians around me, and I took the gem from all of them.
No doubt.
And that's how you get Cannibal Ox, you know? We have a new single right now. It's called Metal Ox. It represents this year, which is the year of the Metal Ox, or as I like to say, the Iron Buffalo.
Wow.
And it's a strong year in astrology, and it's important. Like, so it was us being slick. We always come with something that's multi-layered, and it's the slickest Canox music that's out right now. Make sure you stream Metal Ox. You know what I mean? It's 2 songs, 2 instrumentals.
Okay.
One song, the A side is Metal Ox, and the B side is Raspberry Jelly, featuring Double AB. Shout out to my man Double AB, yes. Repping Queen.
Yeah, that joint is fire, yo.
We working hard. The vinyl's on the way, so if you loving it that much, I'm gonna have the vinyl in stock soon, a couple of months.
Well, I guess let's go into it. Let me just try to find Raspberry Jelly. Let me see if I have it here.
Such a dope song.
Yeah, that's my joint. I hate when that happens. All right, that's not it. Try to find it real quick. Why does it keep going on a commercial? Harlem Nights. Let's see. Hopefully this is it. Yeah. Yeah.
As the day turns, the page burns behind us. Yesterday's written chronicle, going through it psychologically, trying to keep microphones in the stash and spit poems in the mask with more paper than the animation cell lab, reanimated through rehabilitating situations, sitting and waiting to spit innovative with a presence gifted and amazing like Spider-Man, with more adventures getting higher than him, inspired when surviving out of the frying pan, plying the grip from cribs made out of popsicle sticks, playing hopscotch on the brick, pocket full of small zip-locks of the piff and spots with big wigs, talking popular whips, kids watching them stare, vision is clear to their parents, adjusted like mirrors in reflection, rocking
my man Dub Sonata.
Big helicopters in the sky looking like Airwolf on the ground level, geared up in marmots and goggles, maneuvering like orcas through the cold, pedaling the mongoose, insane chronological in multiple velocity, Polly and Posse beats sonically through monitor speaks, shorty in the raspberry jellies on the strip with bad fairies, raspberry jelly whips in the seats is Burberry, raspberry jelly kicks where we dip and flip sailors, raspberry jelly on the strip with mad fairies, raspberry whips and Cadbury.
I am not your Negro, I'm Othello. My father is God, my mother is Barbello. Yeah, we run these streets like good fellows. I know chickens who never have step in stilettos. So I say hello, then I wave my pigeon wing that shines like raspberry yellow. I'm a hard act to follow. At full throttle, we slide in whips, that's raspberry jello. Snatch arrows and bullets, all of the above. You stupid Cupid, there is no love. The fire hydrant broke, I walked on water. The ghetto Christ with the aura of the dove. I'm like Aquaman, you know I got my mom's trident. And when I swing poppies, you're gonna go hiding. Stop crying, there's no denying. Once I scream Phoenix, everybody's dying.
Shorty in the raspberry jellies on the strip with bad fairies. Raspberry jelly whips in the seats is Burberry. Raspberry jelly. Raspberry jelly kicks with
what's the science behind? I mean, what's the characteristics of the ox? Like, I know that comes with like some type of character. You know, I know there's some like predictions on what might can happen, with some possibilities that can happen underneath that sign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The metal ox, again, what's beautiful about the astrology is every animal is going to be accompanied by an element. Mm-hmm. And the elements switch. So the next time you get the ox, it won't be metal.
Right.
So that's what's beautiful. You have to pay attention to the element and the animal.
Right.
And it's the same with us. It's no different with if you say Gemini or Aquarius. That's why we all have a birthstone. Mm-hmm. That's an element. That's why all of our signs are grouped in the cross, in the cosmic cross. Okay. So you got 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, and 3 there. 3, 6, 9, 12. You know what I mean? The cosmic cross. So everybody's sign is perfectly aligned. So it's important to pay attention to the element, and all of that,
Wow. You coming out with a book also soon, right?
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I couldn't wait to bring that up. I know I was thinking I'm going to bring it up later, but I couldn't wait to bring it up.
Yeah. I've been writing a book for 15 years now.
Wow.
I think I've been done maybe at 12 years, and it's been 3 years of editing.
Wow.
So basically I have a book called the Asiatic Calendar. And it's gonna break down a lot of mysticism and a lot of mythology that can be connected or rooted to real stuff that we can, use in anthropology or in,
I got you.
In like basic science.
Yeah.
My goal is to show you how close some of these mythologies are to our science.
Right.
With a little tweak of a 0 here and there, it won't be about, well, this one said 1 million and this one said 1 trillion.
Yeah.
It'll be more about they're still telling you the same thing happened.
Right.
Don't get lost in this one said 7 million and this one said 20 trillion. The point is, look at the finer details of the story.
Yeah, there used to be a movement called Theosophy back in the day.
Okay.
Theosophy. I learned about that when I was working at East West Books. And
I'm very familiar. Madam P. Yeah. Madam Blavatsky.
Madam Blavatsky and that group of people, they was into they used to say that all these different religions are just saying the same story over and over in their own culture and language.
This is true.
That's what Theosophy used to say. The Theosophists used to say.
there's a lot of truth to that statement because you have to remember, like, for example, COVID is going on right now, right?
Yeah.
So a kid in the Bronx is dealing with COVID and a kid in Paris is dealing with COVID. They're both gonna be able to break it down.
Right.
He's gonna be breaking it down in French. He's gonna be breaking it down in English.
Right.
In New York English at that. So that should show you if there's a big earthly cataclysm, all of the shamans are gonna write about it.
Yeah.
The Chinese shaman mystics are gonna write. The Arabian mystics are gonna write.
Right. Right. They're gonna
The Congo, India, and the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Because we all saw the meteorite coming out of the sky.
Right.
And then when the meteorite hit, the water hit us.
Right.
So all of those flood stories, there's truth to a lot of them because the wise know what I'm about to say right now. The knowledge I'm about to say right now is for elite people.
No doubt.
All right. Every 25,000 years or so, the earth does a dramatic wobble. That's why it's so hard to know how old we are.
Right.
Because we always destroy ourselves.
Right. Right.
So you can build the greatest Eiffel Tower. I'm right here in Paris right now. You can build the pyramids. You can build anything. It's all gonna get washed away at a certain point.
Right.
Because the earth mantle is gonna shift. So wherever there's ice, it'll become tropical.
Yeah.
And wherever it's tropical, it will become a desert. It will become barren. And then it will become ice. It's like the earth switches. The best way to explain it, exactly, the pole shift.
Right.
And when that happens, you get a new equator.
Right.
So the earth has been doing that since the beginning of its time. So when you go, our lessons, when I say our lessons, I'm referring to the supreme wisdom lessons of the Nation of Islam or the 120 of the Nation of Gods and Earths.
Okay.
Our lessons refer to that event happening twice. When that event happens twice, that's pretty much one universal cycle. So 50,000 years is like a night and a day. It represents one day. You know, it's like a day with light and then a day with shadow, which we call night. But that's how you get 24 hours. You have to have the shadow part.
Right.
So, and every time this happens, a small amount of us rebuild society again. This is why all of the greatest lessons have always been the same.
Right.
Like, we've always known the truth. We're the original people of the planet. So it didn't matter if we was in India or if we was in Kentucky.
Right.
We knew the truth about melanin. We knew the truth about the stars. we knew the truth about, the concept of a soul.
Mm.
We knew the truth of, the secrets of music and mathematics and the deep psychological science of a myth.
Right.
Because if a myth is done correct, see, not all myths are done correctly.
Mm.
It's a skill.
Right.
If a myth is done correct, it will affect generations.
Right.
Because it's just enough truth that is sugar coated.
Mm.
It's sugar coated a little. It to trap the child's mind.
Mm.
You got to give them some honey.
Right.
But when that honey disappears, they still have to have something. And that's why a good myth is layered with so much truth.
Right.
That when you crack the code, you're not worried about the part that wasn't real.
Right. That's the hero journey.
God bless you. God bless you.
You gonna drive me crazy, Pass.
Come on now. He's one of my greatest. I love Campbell. He's one of my greatest chiefs.
He used to live in New York City, yo. He used to live in the master apartments. That's why I want to live in. That's where I want to live. That's one of the places I want to live. Joseph Campbell used to live on 103rd and Riverside Drive in the master apartments, yo.
Yes. He was I loved that I was learning from a white man that was basically in Harlem.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's Harlem to us. We could technically say Harlem starts at 96th Street. I'ma just put that on the floor.
Yeah.
On the other side, you would say it starts by 110. But on the opposite side, we say it starts at 96th Street. So once you hit the upper 90s, you in Harlem, yo.
No doubt.
So he was on 103rd. Like he was on. He's certified. He's a G.
Yeah.
But nah. So yeah, if a myth is done correctly, you can hide so many sciences in it that are real. And this is the same that we did with songs. So songs and myth are extremely important to our people.
No doubt.
Remember, of course, we're the first writers, but we're the first orators. We're the first people to have an oral history.
Right.
So sitting down in a circle and listening to the elders babble off, it's part of what we have to do.
That's true. That's a fact.
And we were blessed to have the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We were blessed to have C.M. Bay. We were blessed to have, Frederick Douglass. We were blessed to have Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. All of these great men, these were great men, and they did their best in their time to raise people up. So I'm not worried about them making mistakes. They're humans. But let's highlight the greatness that these people did. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to agree with everything, but I respect all of those men enough to name drop them right now.
No doubt.
And I respect their sacrifice.
No doubt.
You know, for them to do that, for them to do what they did, it gave us the power to be here right now. So
that's a fact. Yo.
Yeah, I respect, you know, there's, you know, I respect everybody from athletes, musicians, activists, politicians. We have to respect them.
Yeah.
They paved the way for me.
No doubt. That's a fact. And that's why what do you feel? All right, well, let me just go in. What do you feel about the direction of the culture right now?
You mean hip hop?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some mundane. There's some regular and some mundane.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of good too. When is it ever not gonna be like that?
Right.
So we have our NWAs and we have our Tribe Called Quest.
Right.
So let's just let them make good music. Just because you're Tribe, you don't have to make good music. It's hard work. And just because you're NWA, you don't have to make good music. It is hard work.
Right.
So let's just let's just step back and let people create. And some people are gonna push things forward, and some people are gonna keep things a little simple and mundane. What is different?
Right. Right.
Nothing is different. We had MC Hammer, we had Vanilla Ice, but yet we had the Alcoholics, we had King T, we had Brand Nubian, we had Wu-Tang, we had Nas. So what is really different? We've always had, you know, stuff that was a little simple and easy to digest for the poppy world, if you may. So I just want to remind everybody not to panic, because we like I said earlier, we go through cycles.
That's true.
So J. Cole is, you know, the new Tribe Called Quest.
Right.
You know, Kanye West is the new Tribe Called Quest. You know what I mean? You have to be like, these are like the weirdos that are pushing stuff forward. And then you're going to have artists that are a little mundane. I don't want to have to drop any names on anybody, but, you know, you already know what they're going to drop.
Right.
They've got six albums out, and you pretty much know how every song sounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like an artist that's not afraid to take a risk.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest risk I'm taking is going to be in the studio, and I've got to feel it before I release it. I'm never going to release anything that I don't feel.
Yeah, that's a fact.
If I released it, you got to at least say he liked it himself. So let me give it a chance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not every song has to be for you.
Right.
If I have 100 songs, you can enjoy 30 of them.
Right.
That's okay. And maybe the other 70 are not for you.
Right.
Or vice versa. You can enjoy 70 of them, and maybe there's a 30 that that's not for me.
Right.
I like him when he's more in this lane. because I'm experimental. I try different things,
Right.
but whatever I release, you gotta know that I liked it, but we mixed it, we mastered it,
Yeah.
and we gave it artwork and we put it out.
Right. Right.
So if I put something out, that means I believed in it and I was behind it,
Wow.
So, you know.
How close are you to finishing the book? The Asiatic Calendar.
Um, like I said, it's been 12 years of writing and 3 years of editing, and I want to finish it in this next year. So if I'm gonna do my best to try to get it out like by the end of next year. So
Okay.
I'm gonna be working a lot on the edits when I get back home from Paris.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm definitely
Yo,
looking
you're
forward to
gonna
reading
be
it. Reading that.
there's about 35 to 50 people that
Wow.
will get the book before the public does,
No
and
doubt.
you're one.
Thank you.
So
I would definitely want to read that and
it's
definitely
gonna
help promote it.
it's gonna be some interesting information.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a lot of different perspectives. Uh, you know, um, I'm grounded, in the knowledge of the nation of gods and earths
No doubt.
via the nation of Islam, but I didn't just stop there.
Right.
I studied Zen for over 13, 14 years.
Wow.
I studied all types of Buddhism that you could dream. I
Wow.
studied Buddhisms that contradicted each other.
Mm.
That's how deep I got into it.
Mm.
So my knowledge of Dharma is very scary. I understand Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucius,
Mm.
all of that, and can compare it back to the Congo and Egypt
Right.
perfectly.
Wow.
It's all the same science. There is nothing in, I'm trying to get the camera. There is nothing in Taoism
Mm.
that I can't find in the Congo
Right.
or in Ethiopia.
Right.
There's nothing in Ethiopia that I can't find in the Aztecs.
Mm.
Showing you it was a world. The world had this understanding.
Right.
We were one. We were one.
Yeah, it wasn't
Going
isolated.
going back to what we said earlier of why is everyone's story so similar?
Mm.
Even if it has different changes,
Mm.
key points are similar.
Yeah. Remember that guy Gerald Macey?
Yes, I have a bibliography in my book,
Mm.
and 2 of his books are in there.
Oh wow.
And I quote him maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's an amazing teacher.
Yeah, he had that book, The 16 Crucified Saviors. Come on, yeah. I've been reading a long time. This is pre-transhumanism.
He's no 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 no. He's no 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 no. He's a beast.
Yeah.
I know about that book, but he also had a book called Egypt, the Light of the World.
Egypt, the Light of the World. I got both. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Light of the World, definitely.
He goes off.
Yeah.
He really dropped a lot of secrets. You know what I mean? I can say I agree with at least 75% of his stuff. You know, I can love an author if I can at least love 60% of what he's giving me.
Right.
Because you don't have to accept everything you're given.
That's right.
You might know better.
Right.
So you might know better than the author on page 10. But on page 36, he might know something that you need to do more research on.
Right, right.
So that's how I approach books.
Right.
You know what I mean? As long as, 65%, then it's a good book. It's a good book at that point. It's probably not great, but it's good. You know what I mean? You can't grab any book and think, 100% of this is perfect.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? You would be a fool. But as long as the percentage is up, 78%, 85%, 90%, there are books that are 90% great.
Yeah, yeah.
They just made little mistakes, and that's the 10%, and you move on.
No doubt.
But you don't throw that whole book out.
Right, right.
So I've been that's one of the biggest things I've been telling the youngsters is to, if the book can give you 60-70% of good information, then you good.
Yeah, yo, that's true.
You know what I mean? And then you can cross-reference it with your time.
Right, right.
Because, I read a lot of books that are 200 years old, 150 years old, 80 years old. So you're going to have to cross-reference it with something that's closer to you.
You remember there was an author in East West books called Graham Hancock. I'm trying to get him on the show, yo.
Yes.
I'm trying to get him on the show. He was talking about the stuff like that pole shift stuff.
Why are you bringing up dudes that are in my book?
That's crazy.
See, these are the type of people. I could go from Gerald Macey to Graham Hancock to Elijah Muhammad like that. Because I'm trying to get you the truth from so many different sides.
Right, right. I see what you're saying, right.
So when Elijah says it, you might have a bias against him.
That's true.
That's why I have to go get Graham to say the same thing that Elijah said.
Right, right.
And I have to go get Gerald Macey to back up what Elijah said.
Right, right, right.
Because you might have a bias against Malcolm X.
Right, right.
I gotta find some weird Indian philosopher that said the same thing Malcolm X said. And he's across the world in India going under the same oppression that we were going through in the United States.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta drop this on you too. I was listening to KRS-One the other day. I don't know who he was talking to, but he said to somebody, he said everybody's history starts off with a slave history. I don't care what do you think about that? I said, yo, he said that, all these different groups had if you look at all the mythology, the religious books, the religious texts, they say the same story. You're in bondage, you get free. Same story.
Well, bondage is connected to control. So who controls you has you in some type of bond.
Mm.
And if you as a people look to a government to govern you, then they're going to treat you like children.
Right.
So this is how you end up becoming a subject.
Right.
And that's how you end up. It goes from becoming a subject, and then you end up becoming a slave in so many words. And then there's different types of servitude.
Mm.
So if you're a slave I'm just using this as an example. If you're a slave in Texas, it's going to be different than being a slave in New York.
Right.
That's how it gets tricky.
Mm.
Because you can say the New York slaves had it a little better.
Right.
But y'all were all still slaves.
Right.
But maybe New York treated y'all a little better than Utah did. You know, in Utah, you couldn't have a glass of lemonade until all the cotton was picked.
Right.
You have to think of it like that. It was a business.
Mm.
So every plantation was not literally the same.
Mm.
It was a business, y'all. And people run their businesses different.
Mm.
So you could have had real harsh plantations where the people are getting raped all the time and they're malnourished and they're expected to do 16 hours. And then fuck around, there was a plantation that was a little bit more humane because the granddad died and the kids were a little bit more lenient than him. So when they inherited the plantation, you could have all the lemonade you wanted. You just better pick that cotton.
Mm-hmm.
See, it depends. So you just better stack that sugar cane.
Mm.
Y'all could do whatever you want, but that sugar cane come up short, someone getting whipped.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using that as an example because we have to understand it was a personal business.
Right.
So to give you a picture, we should be thinking about Django right now.
Mm.
Remember the movie Django?
Yeah, I've seen Django.
We should be thinking about that.
Mm.
You know, and how he couldn't believe that a black man was on a horse.
Yeah.
He couldn't, he was fucked in the head. Samuel L. Jackson is like, I'm from a world where that'll get you killed.
Right.
Samuel L. Jackson could not fathom how Jamie Foxx was able to sit on a horse. So that should show you the power of mentality and how long they kept us away from riding horses and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that was a sign of power and class and caste.
Right.
We walk around here acting like we're not in class systems and caste systems, and we are.
That's true.
We walk around like, oh, we're so free. No, you have a amount of freedom. But if you're in the wrong neighborhood, you might not even have clean water.
Right.
I'm not blaming nobody, but maybe I am. How can we give 300 million to Stephen Curry? You know, I love him to death.
Mm-hmm.
But is Flint's water handled?
That's true.
Did we clean Flint's water? But I can go to ESPN and a 23-year-old is gonna get 400 million in 5 years? That's a backwards system.
Yeah.
How is Flint's water not fixed? But an NBA team can give one player $300 million. And you gotta think that's one player. They still gotta pay the coach. They gotta pay all the other players.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the mentality of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Flint still has dirty water, but we're gonna make so much money off of this young kid that nobody cares. Like, so we got to start caring about the world again.
Right. The biggest word is compassion. Is the compassion is not there no more.
When I was talking about the 25,000 years, what you have to understand is portions in that 25,000, they come as a grade of our mentality. So the first portion will be golden. We're open-minded. Civilization is, but we fall off a little and then it becomes silver. Then we fall off a little more and it becomes bronze. Then we fall off a little more and it becomes iron. Year of the Iron Buffalo. Okay? So it's symbolic that we're in a dark age.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I turned the TV on. Black men are dying. I can't breathe. Black Lives Matter. Then you try to slickly undercut Black Lives Matter with All Lives Matter, which is like a trick and a half.
Yeah.
Because if the rainbow mattered, then you should allow me to say orange matters.
Right.
If the Caribbean matters, then you should allow me to say Puerto Rico matters. If the United States matters, then I should be able to say Utah matters, Kentucky matters, Mississippi matters. Because it's all the United States. So, of course, all lives matter, but we need you to respect the black and brown ones right now who are dying in the street selling cigarettes. Why are 5 of you tackling me and I was selling cigarettes? Why? The footage the other day. Why are y'all sicking a dog on me? Why? So it just shows you we're in a dark age. Donald Trump was in office for 5 seconds and he tried to build a wall.
I know.
What type of mentality? I remember Michael Jackson's video, they was knocking down the Berlin Wall, right?
Yeah.
God bless Michael Jackson. So Michael Jackson's dead, and now a new wall is being built up. It's that cycle.
Right.
We go through gold, silver, bronze, iron. It's a mentality. And there's macro versions and micro. What do I mean by that? So you could be in a macro, your macro could be silver, but your micro is iron. So it's all about mentality. It's all about our mentality. It's all about how we perceive things right now, in the now. Remember, yesterday is gone. It's gone. You ate what you ate. You read what you read. You watched what you watched. It's gone. Tomorrow is not here. So we always have right now. Tomorrow is an idea. It's not here.
Yeah, right.
Yesterday is gone. Right. These are the two lions in Egypt. The Aire lions. Okay? The Aire lions in Egypt. One is yesterday, one is today. But the sun is in the center. The sun is in the center. Who took that? The Far Easterners. That's why at every gate you have two lions. When you go to a restaurant, they got two lions.
Yeah.
And the lion is usually holding a spear. That spear can be the moon, the sun, a celestial object. And yeah.
Wow.
Graham Hancock and one of his colleagues, they explain how when the Sphinx was made, it was lined up with Leo in the sky.
Yeah, I remember reading that, yeah.
And this would have happened 30,000 years ago.
Yeah. They pushed it back. Then the other Egyptologists said they pushed the Sphinx back when it was built. They pushed it back. They said no, this was before. I don't remember the dates. It's been so long. I read those type of books.
The Sphinx is something that has been constantly remade. So the Sphinx was there before the pyramids.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the part that they're not lying about. The part that they're lying about is that the pyramids are 5,000 years old. That's a blatant lie.
Right.
And there's a lot of Egypt teachers that'll just shake their head to that. Rest in peace to Dr. Ben.
Right.
I consider him a wise man, and he gave us a lot of data on that.
No doubt.
He gave us a lot of data on that, and see, I take what Ben gave me, and I cross-reference it with Graham Hancock.
Right.
And that's how I get the best of both sides.
Right. Right.
And, you know, Graham Hancock ends up supporting a lot of what Ben gave us.
Right.
And a lot of what is the brother's name? Ivan Van Sertima.
Right.
Ivan Van Sertima told us.
Rest in peace. I think the brother's no longer with us.
He passed.
Yeah.
Yes, he passed. Both of them have passed.
Yeah.
Dr. Ben and Ivan Van Sertima.
Yeah.
Wow, we're dropping names tonight.
That's before Columbus, right?
Yes.
Before
yes.
Columbus. Yeah.
They came before Columbus.
Yeah.
He also has a book about the Moors. But yeah. Ivan Van Sertima, he was telling us 85% of what Graham Hancock is telling us. But he's a black man.
Right, right.
So no one cares.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely understand that.
And they barely care about Hancock.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So you think you get you ain't lying, yo.
He's a weirdo to them. They hate him.
Yeah.
But because they hate him that much, it was like we have to listen to him. Right. If the square scientists, if they hate him, it's like, yeah, we got to give him a chance. Because they're trying to deter us from him. Let us study it. Let us study him and you, and we'll pick what we want.
Right.
Why are y'all so scared? That's how you know science is a religion now. Science is a religion now, y'all. Y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up. You can't just... Anything can be corrupted. Anything. Someone can be bought out, paid out. Someone can be intimidated. For example, if I sponsor you, say I sponsor Super Longevity. I'm your backbone. I'm your electricity. So just because I sponsor you, are you going to tell me no when I'm like, bring this person on the show? You see, you might not even totally agree with it, but because you don't want to compromise the money, you're going to bring that person on the show. All right, it's one show. I'll let him live because he supplies the backing. Now, let's change the story. How many museums, hospitals, libraries, bookshops, how many of them will, not promote something or promote something because of money?
That's true. And let me tell you, that I see that even in my daily dealings. People know what it is. They see the show. They know what it is. And they will not, if they look at the numbers, if the numbers are not big, they won't pay you no mind. And you know what? I don't get offended. I'm not even offended by that no more because I'm not here for that anyway. If you don't want it, if it's not a problem for me. I only bring people up here that I respect anyway. I like to do it like this.
But that's what's dope. Yeah. It's all about bringing quality. It's all about bringing, someone that's going to be able to cover topics and give an honest, opinion about things, and people get to think and share ideas.
Yeah, I definitely yeah, that's definitely what this platform is about. I like to hear what people. I'm learning while I listen. I'm learning with my listeners. The people
Oh,
sometimes
no,
I'm learning just with my listeners. It's a fact.
We're all learning. We're all learning. Like, you know what I mean? The reason I'm smart is because I'm the first one to say I don't know.
Right.
When you say I don't know, it opens up the lane for you to know.
Right.
When you're always like, I know, you're going to fall into the ego.
Yeah.
Shut up, sit back, catch the gem.
Yeah.
Because our problem is we jump. We jump. We see the line in the Quran that says you can have 4 women. But the line right under it says if you can't treat one woman correct, you don't deserve any.
That's a fact.
That's the line right under it. But you saw what you wanted to see because you're selfish.
That's a fact.
And that's all it comes down to. And that's a human problem.
Yeah.
I don't care what scripture is next to you or how wise your mother was.
Yeah.
We a selfish I is all, no pun intended, I like I myself.
That's a fact.
A selfish I is always gonna see what it wants to see.
Yo, you know what? You're right. You're right. Our mentality sometimes gives us exactly what our fears and our nightmares are. We project them. You end up having a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes. We talked about that the other day. Who was I talking to about this the other day? I think the brother. Yo, shout out to Jeremiah Cameron. That's the brother, yo. Damn, I had a great conversation with him. I'm looking to talk to him. He was dropping it. I just sat there, yo. Man, this been an ill week. And I know I was telling my homegirl, I don't know, sometimes I said, yo, I feel like we're in biblical times. We got pandemics, climate control. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got a crime wave. Yo, you see, somebody was downtown eating outside. They had a rollie on. Somebody snatched the rollie off. It was on 80-something Street. When was the last time you heard something like that happening on 80-something Street?
That's crazy. That sounds like 1986.
That's what I was telling people. We back in the 80s, yo. I told people that.
That sounds like 84 when crack was on the door.
Yo, man, I never seen nothing like this. And that's why, yo.
Crack, in 83, 84, crack was already in South America. And then it came to us by 86. That's New Jack City.
Yeah.
86, 87. Man. Yeah. That Rolex was getting snatched.
Yeah, the 80s was rough.
That Rolex, yeah, for you to say that happened now in 20, it's getting real out there again like that.
Yo,
like
I was on a train, I seen somebody shoot up the door, the train door opened up. He had a needle stuck in his arm, yo.
Stop.
And then on the way going to work, I said, "Oh snap!" The door opened up. It was the truth. The door opened. It said, doo-doo. There was graffiti on the wall, and this guy was on. I don't know what he was on, but he was doing a Harlem Shake on the platform. It was graffiti. I said, "Yo, what the?" I told my uncle about it. I said, "Yo," I came home. I said, "Yo, Unc." Shout out to Uncle Phil. I said, "Yo, Unc, man, OG Uncle Phil." I said, "Yo," I said, yo, man, I said, such and such and such. I said, he's like, he laughed because he knew exactly what I was saying. I said, I feel like we back in the 80s, yo. I said, I really feel like that's how bad it is out here now, yo, right now.
I remember in the 80s, if you wasn't a thug, you left those last 2 train cars alone.
Yeah, that's true.
You rode the 3rd train car up.
That's true.
Because, for everybody watching, a New York train car is 10 cars. At least 8. You always left those last 2 alone. And it's about to get like that again.
Yeah, yo.
It's real because people are desperate.
Yeah.
When people are desperate,
they do desperate things. That's all you're seeing is desperation. That's a fact.
They do desperate things. Like, people are scared, they're unknowledgeable, they're not patient, so they're going to be quick to be defensive and violent. So,
yeah.
And they're frustrated.
Yeah. They can't go nowhere. You got a pandemic. You need a vaccination card. People are fighting. People are fighting whether they got vaccinated. You shouldn't get vaccinated. It's just crazy. It's like another division. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo.
We already had like a bunch of divisions, and now we have the vaccination division, which is dumb because if you're vaxxed or not, you can hold the disease and transfer it. The vaccination is actually just a protection to you, really.
Right.
It'll help you fight your own COVID.
Right.
But, we can all carry it, and we can all have it and won't show a symptom.
Right.
So I think people need to just relax. I said this the other day. We went through the Spanish plague. We went through, the bubonic plague. And after all of that, didn't we get James Brown? Didn't we get Prince and Michael Jackson? And that was all after the Spanish flu.
That's crazy, yo.
So the moral of the story is life is going to go on. You can't really think of yourself as being bigger than anything else.
Right.
You can't, you're just like a vase of flowers. You're going to go through your time and then you're going to shrivel up. And, just like you became, you're going to unbecome. That's part of it. You became visible, then you got to become invisible. That's part of it.
This is where we kind of differ.
Okay.
This is where we kind of differ, but I know where you're coming from because I actually had the same kind of thoughts, early on.
Let me explain a little bit more.
Okay.
I will admit that if we do things at an optimum level, diet, exercise, all of that, even society, like you could do all the exercise you want, but you still got to breathe the fumes from the bus. So at some point, even society has to rise, and we can prolong and extend ourselves longer. But there's always some type of ending, and it doesn't mean we can't come back. Like, I think it's a miracle right now that we're sitting here, 2 giant pieces of flesh with consciousness. We're able to discern between right and wrong, up and down, left and right. We have eyeballs, ears, nose, taste, touch, sensation. This is phenomenal that we all are right now. So who's to say we can't do this again in another vehicle at another time and place?
I used to when I
Listen,
first started.
listen,
Oh, okay.
listen, because we can locate my heart, we can locate my brain, we can't locate my consciousness. I feel like that is too big to be located.
I just feel like we share the same stuff that the rest of the animals do. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like there's nothing really special about us in that matter. And you know,
Yeah,
without the brain, you can't have. There's no consciousness without the brain. That's but that doesn't put limits. But hold on. Let me just get this off.
The consciousness is a little bit deeper than the brain.
No, all right, but hold on 1 second. And when you're talking, another thing is this. Early on, I believed in these things, but I tend not to lean towards that anymore.
Oh, you don't? Oh, no. You don't have to believe, but you don't have to disbelieve.
No,
That's the secret.
My whole thing is that when you look at Kemet and you look at mummification, right? The purpose of mummification, was to preserve the body so that the soul that they believe in the soul can, go to its destination.
The nether world, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I just feel that they had the right idea. I feel like those people, they believe in immortality, but in a metaphysical way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like today we actually have the science and technology. We know enough about nature. We have the science and technology to perfect those things, to perfect a way for us to be able to restart life and be reanimated. We don't always have to be buried, cremated. You know what I'm saying? We could be cryopreserved in liquid nitrogen until the time is right, until the science and technology is ripe enough for us to be reanimated. They're not bringing us back to life. They're suspending us in time. I believe that time travel. I believe that we're not gonna have people, because of Hollywood. People believe that they're gonna go into a spaceship and fly away. That's hard to do. You know what I'm saying? That's very hard to do. That's very hard to do from an engineering perspective. If you talk to any engineer, they'll tell you that to time travel in a spaceship, to have the type of energy you would need to fly faster than the speed of light. That type of science is very advanced. Now, hear me out. Cryonics, in the other way, can happen sooner. Okay, so cryogenics, like Demolition Man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like,
or like Han Solo when they put him in the carbonite.
Right. It's in our mythos. You know what I'm saying?
It's there. We're very close, but like I said, I'm not against us becoming more bionic, more advanced. It's a part of it. Right now, me and you are streaming on a cell phone. Okay, and a computer. What's going to happen when they can put this technology in our eyeball? So it's like you could literally have all of your information right here.
Yeah, that's the neural link.
You won't even be looking down at your hand no more. You'll tap your temple and be switching photographs and looking at videos and I'm snatching this idea from that Black Mirror, that show Black Mirror on Netflix. They showed a society where everyone had their cell phone in their head. And I was like, yeah, that's in like 100 years. That's close. I was like, we're all like this right now. Everybody's walking around like this. 40 people bumped into me today
Yeah,
because
people do be pumping. Yeah,
they was in their phone. I'm in the middle of Paris.
yeah,
They were in their phone instead of looking up.
yeah.
So yeah, it's there's a lot of truth that I agree with the sciences that you're building with singularity, all of that.
No doubt.
But I am still on the side.
Mm.
I'm still on the side that consciousness is greater than the brain.
Right.
But the brain is the tool that is needed to operate the body. So the consciousness is dwelling in us, using this as a vehicle. But can I really pinpoint what consciousness is?
Yeah, I think you can. But another thing is that
Because what is consciousness when you just wake up every morning? What is that feeling of like, wow, I woke up again? And you could have had a bad dream where people died. You could have had a dream where you had sex. But you come out of your sleep. What am I trying to explain? Because I just had a surgery a couple of months ago. So y'all were just in my head doing everything. I didn't feel nothing. They put a tube up my nose and clipped this and cut that. I had some sinus issues. And it just amazes me that I came out of that. Sleeping has always been an amazing thing to me. Look how the bear can hibernate for months. Sleeping. Look how the Nordics talk about their father goes to sleep and then they go into a winter as if sleep is the negative. When he's awake, they're in spring and summer. So see, sleep, Osiris. Osiris represents autumn. A lot of people don't know that. If you look at the word autumn, it's really Atum Ra. If you look at the word sunset, that's Horus and his uncle Set. And the sun and the light, they fight for 12 hours. So the light wins for 12 and the dark wins for 12. If you look at the word horoscope, you just said Horace's scope. Heru, Horus, horoscope. If you play with the U in Horus, you can make the word hours, which is light and time. So Horus or Heru represents light, the day. So does his father, Osiris, Asar. But his uncle represents darkness. His uncle killed his dad, and now he's in place of his dad. It's great symbology. Now, you talked about the mummy. The mummy is about the respect of the physical vehicle. The physical vehicle is the only proof that you were ever here.
Right.
If we don't have your bones, you were not here.
That's a fact.
So mummifying your king is the highest honor. And he's going to be in a sarcophagus, a tomb that people are going to be able to see from miles away. Now, the other part of the myth is the cute part. See, we spoke about this an hour ago. So we just dealt with the basic part of the myth. Now let's go to the part of the myth that gets a little tricky. What happens to the Ba, or the soul, as they say, which is a human face attached to a bird? The Ba, that's great symbolism. It means moving, traveling. It means expansion. Right. When your consciousness is in your body, it's semi-limited. To expand, you have to die. This is why the Rastas say everybody wants heaven, but no one wants to die. So you don't want heaven, because to get to the real heaven, you have to die. And you have to leave this world behind.
Right. I think that mummification is their first attempt to try to become immortal.
That's that. There's truth to that, but it clearly was a symbolic immortalism, because everyone I just named is immortal. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Prince, James Brown, Michael Jackson, all of those men are immortal, and they didn't build a pyramid. So the point is, there's a part of us that always wants to be remembered. I know that when I die, my music will be remembered. Right. So I kind of chuckle that a part of me will always be here. So there's a part of us that wants to be remembered. We all want our jersey to be in the rafter. If I could use that metaphor, this is the game of life.
Well,
And in the game of life, we all want our jersey to be preserved. And that's what the pyramid was, in a way. They were showing off their level of mathematics also. Like, as wise as we are, why can't we duplicate that building? But
For
we
what
can't
purpose? Why would we want to do that?
we can't duplicate that building, but we have a space shuttle that can get to the moon.
But why would we want to? Why would we want to build
Listen,
another pyramid?
listen, to,
And which
listen to where
pyramid?
I'm going. Well, if you think you're so good in math, how come you can't repeat a building that was made before you? That means
So
you're
all
missing
the
something.
architects out there, you heard it. Can somebody come up here and explain why you cannot build a pyramid today? I don't know. I don't know anything about architecture. I don't. You know
The
what I'm saying? I'm not
Japanese,
even gonna pretend like I do. But it's assumed that that the pyramids are so sophisticated that they can't be duplicated. The Great Pyramid can't be duplicated today. Is that true? I need somebody who has an architect
can't be
degree.
done. Can't be done. It was done by the supreme man, and he left with those secrets. Can't be done. See, we have to rise up. You can't build a pyramid in the Iron Age. You got to go back to that golden age I was talking about.
There we go.
And we go through this all the time. It's an up and a down. It's an ebb and a flow. We go through dark ages and we go through bright ages. And we're very wise right now with a lot of shit and totally dark with other things.
Right.
And that's why I'm telling you, the mind is a little bit deeper than the brain.
Where's the evidence of this?
Well, the point I'm trying to say is we can kind of see consciousness in things that don't necessarily have our direct body. So where is the heart or the lungs of a plant? But if we play hard rock and roll, it will affect the plant. The growth will change. So that shows you how strong an audio wave is. Where is the ear on the plant? So we need to get a plant specialist in here too, just as much as we need a grand architect to look me in the face and go, you're exactly correct. There's a certain part of the math that we're missing. It is inconceivable that they were able to move 70-ton blocks.
Well,
you understand? So
you don't think they built it? Is what you're trying to say?
oh no. They did build it.
Oh.
I don't have to make it harder and concoct a story that Predator and E.T. built it.
Right.
I don't gotta do that. Mac and me didn't make the pyramids. Okay? Man has to take responsibility of how smart we are and how intelligent we are. let me drop a bomb right now, and I'm gonna see how well you respond to this.
Mm-hmm.
What if I told you the ape was a degenerate of me and you? Not that you evolved from him.
Mm. That's not what biologists are saying, though. I don't think.
No.
Mm.
No.
They're saying that we come
But
from a common ancestry. They're not saying that we evolved from apes.
if it's a common, I say that in my book, but if it's a common ancestor, then it's our family.
But in evolution, everything is the web of life. Everything is related.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm not saying that I'm not connected to the ape.
Right.
I'm just saying the way they tried to give it to us.
Oh, yeah, there was a group of scientists that were trying. I don't quote me, y'all. But I do believe that if I read correctly, I haven't read stuff like that in a long time. But there was people that were saying that we directly came from apes. I think, I'm not sure. I think something. I think I read something like that.
Yes.
I forgot what they call it in biology, though.
And there's a lot of people that call themselves Darwinists, and they go against what Darwin taught. So that's something else. But yeah, man has always known we were connected to the ape. The Egyptians knew this. Ancient Moors knew this. The monkey has always been special to us.
You're a Moor, right?
You're a Moor.
Right.
I don't want to say I'm a Moor like I'm part of a group.
Right.
Because when you go to Shakespeare, Othello was a Moor. He wasn't part of an organization.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is, in an older time, that was a respected title for people of color. Now you're just a Negro, and a Negro gets retranslated into black.
Right. Why is that?
And the G is related to the C. So when you change the G to a C, now you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're a necro. So there's a reason Othello was called a Moor. Because that was when we had respect in the language still. But when you're calling us a black, that's when you're degrading us.
How come?
Well,
correct title to name us, to go by,
well,
to identify with.
Well, because a human being is not an adjective.
Right.
A human being deserves to have a proper noun.
Proper noun. That's a fact.
So now we getting real deep.
That's a fact.
We getting deep now. See, this is spiritual vocal metaphysics. And if you don't know any better, you'll just allow someone to call you anything.
Right.
But then the deeper part of it is what's behind it when they're calling you it. It's all about the currency behind it. This is why two girlfriends can call each other bitch and nothing happens.
Right.
Because it's the current behind it.
Right.
But let a strange girl call her a bitch in the supermarket.
Right. I don't know her.
And she don't know her? Oh boy, it's going to be a cleanup in aisle 7. So we always have to respect the context of how something is being said. Right. If I say I'm God that doesn't exclude you.
Right.
You just need to have the knowledge that you're God too.
Right.
But if I say it, you could think I'm singing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If I say it, you could think I'm singing, I'm God alone or I'm God above you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all how you take it and perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to watch the context.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I am a Moor, and I'm not down with any of these particular organizations.
Right.
Although I respect a lot of them, and I've studied a lot of the great teachers that were pushing uh, Moorish science over here in the Western Hemisphere.
No doubt.
But I don't want someone to think a Moor is a group. Um, it's a large
Mm-hmm.
expanse of various different tribes of people.
Mm-hmm.
And when they called us that, it was out of respect.
Right.
Once we lost the respect, we lost the noun, and we ended up becoming an object.
Right.
And an object is something that you can stain or dye or paint. We became colored.
Right.
So I just wanted to share that because that's real if you understand language.
Right.
See, everybody thinks they can count, but when they gonna learn how to talk?
Right.
Okay, you know what 7 times 7 is. Good.
Mm.
But do you know how to read?
Right.
Because if you don't know how to read a word properly, they could get one over on you.
Right. Right. Let me ask you something. You ever think that are we gonna hear more from the Year of the Ox? Are we gonna hear some more singles?
Oh yeah, I'm working on the album now.
Oh, okay. Wow. I definitely wanna hear the rest of what you got because I liked everything. I like both of those tracks that I heard. Those
Oh
are ill.
yeah, man. We're working on the album now. Um, I'm trying to get a couple of singles out. So we got the new single in production is coming. We'll have a physical, and pardon me. And I have another single that I'm doing, that I'm re-releasing. I'm re-releasing a single I have with MF Doom
Oh,
called Super Friends. And I'm gonna
wow.
put all the remixes together, and we've got crazy artwork, and shout out to MF Doom, love you to death. You know what I
Yeah, yo.
mean?
Wow.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I've studied too much.
Mm.
I've studied too much, and trust me, I've let go of a lot of dumb shit
No doubt.
throughout this. You just let go of dumb shit.
Mm. Wow.
One thing that I'm settled with
Mm.
is that consciousness is beyond the body.
Mm.
Consciousness is beyond the body.
Mm.
Because no one can properly explain life or existence.
Mm.
And that's what consciousness really is to me.
Mm. Wow.
On a surface level, when I go to sleep, I can say I'm unconscious.
Right.
When I'm having surgery, I can say I'm unconscious. That's a surface level.
Mm.
But on a deeper level, when you die,
Mm.
it's almost like you get to see the real veil.
Mm.
It's almost like you're blind now.
Mm.
And when you die, you get to see the real veil.
So you do believe that? So you believe that living is just a waiting room? You just in a waiting room
It's an experience.
for
It's
the
an
next life.
experience. Exactly. Exactly. I think life is ever flowing. You know, why not? Why not? I don't have to push it on nobody.
Mm.
I might feel different tomorrow.
No doubt.
Tomorrow's not here yet, though.
Mm.
So at this moment, you know what I mean? At this moment, you know, don't get me wrong.
Mm.
I don't want to belittle it to a waiting room like we got to go somewhere else.
Mm.
But
In essence,
it's
if there's another place you go after this, and that's the real place, then this is
well, that's debatable because even that real place.
mm.
See, that's why I don't like saying this is a fake place.
Right.
They're both real.
Mm.
They're both real, but they both have their time and places. If we're hinting at some mystical heaven. And I believe the real heaven is nirvana. I believe the real heaven is when you melt back into the supreme.
Mm.
There is no other heaven that's gonna top that. You can have 100 women on an island for 300 years,
Mm-hmm.
and you're eventually gonna get tired of that.
Right.
I know that's hard for people to believe,
Mm-hmm.
but
Don't most
on
people
the
believe in the afterlife though? I don't really know nobody who don't. Some form of it.
well, it's common. It's common.
It's a
It
common belief
doesn't.
system, right? I don't know. I don't really know nobody who don't believe in the afterlife.
Yeah, mostly everybody believes in God and believes in the afterlife. Or look at that phrase. See, life is always. So what is afterlife? Death is another stage. If life is heads, then death is tails. Okay?
Mm.
It's like they go together. And I don't think death is any more powerful than life.
Mm.
And that's why I trust that me and you have been here before and will be here again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I can't prove that to you.
Right.
And yeah, that's the unique part of life that I can't prove that to you.
Yes, you can't.
You have to experience certain things on your own and come to your own conclusions.
Right.
You know, this is the real spiritual path. You know, not religious, which boxes you in and tries to have an answer for everything.
Mm.
Spiritual people don't mind messing up. They don't mind being wrong, and they don't mind expressing themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
wow,
spiritual,
that was an ill talk, man.
Spiritual. My bad. There's a mosquito trying to get some. Spiritual people know that they have to do the work.
Mm.
So, A religious person is always looking for a ghost to do something. Well, this is how we can end that in 1 second. Is a ghost going to make your bed today?
No,
You could get on your knees and beg the ghost to make your bed. Now, when that ghost makes your bed, you make sure you come and get me. You're going to be waiting a long time. That bed is never going to get made. So, if a ghost could make your bed, shouldn't we ask the ghost to end world hunger? See? So when I say God, I have a higher dimensional understanding of what that is. I'm not the average person that thinks it's a spooky man waiting on you to ask for a present. You know, a ghostly king that sits on his throne and watches everyone mess up on the earth.
Right.
That's a 6-year-old's perception of God, and grown people have to leave that alone. What's God is in you right now. And you could build a space shuttle, you could build Eiffel Tower, you can build a piano, you can build a truck, a car, a boat. So your creative will and consciousness is God living through you.
No doubt.
So you're probably going to say, why can't we remember all of it? It's a protection. You would have so much trauma if you remembered when a cheetah ate you. You get mad over a bully that smacked you in the head and took your applesauce. You would be losing your mind if you remembered when you got pushed off a cliff. See, this is why you're not going to remember all of your lives. It's a defense mechanism. But me and you both know there are shamans who have reached their other lives. But that was their experience. So until me and you experience that on our own, we would only be regurgitating someone's story. So I had to share that with you because I want you to fully understand me. I want the viewer to be like, wow, I get it now.
So you believe in reincarnation, is what you're saying?
Yes. Re means to go back, and incarnate. I'm incarnate right now. And when I leave this, it's most likely that I will reincarnate again. It's not a have to.
Right.
It doesn't have to happen. You do not have to reincarnate. You make a choice. And that's in the Egypt scriptures, that's in the Tibetan.
Who gives you the choice? If you had,
you have the choice because it's based on your actions. So I can technically say Thoth or Dahudi and Mott because they're the ones that weigh your heart. See, that's all symbolic. It's all symbolic, but until you can repeat that building, you can't cancel nothing they said. So until you can do Michael Jordan's moves, you can't cancel anything he says about ball.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that we could surpass the buildings of the pyramid in function and design eventually?
Yeah, that's the point. That's the whole point.
Can we do it?
But you've got to get there again. You're asking me if you can get to 9. You got to get to 7 to get to 9. So the pyramids are 7. You got to get to back to 7. Then you have a chance to get to 9. We are missing something. Not only pyramids, but there's proof that we had aerial machines. So us learning how to fly again was a cycle.
Why we never found any machinery?
Well, we haven't found a lot of things.
I mean, if that area had machinery and helicopters and whatever flying objects. If they have flying objects, right? Whatever design they may be, why we haven't found them yet?
I'm not saying we had helicopters.
I'm just saying flying objects.
But there's proof that we had air balloons, hang gliders. It was interesting. It was an interesting world. We had something if we were moving 70-ton bricks. So
I mean, they was kind of bored out there. They didn't really have no TVs or nothing. They was out there in the middle of the desert. It was probably hundreds of that whole city was probably building those pyramids together, yo.
It probably was
a whole purpose.
It was
build that pyramid for that pharaoh.
It was the knowledge. It was the ancient knowledge of the people. We are extremely ancient. And we've been here before.
I'm just talking about the man. Where did they get the manpower? I'm trying to just think. Some of the manpower behind that. They had to have the whole city. The whole city had to be behind that to make that happen.
Yeah.
A project to that magnitude in that time zone, the whole city, the whole Egypt had to be a part of that grand task.
And and look at that. All of that knowledge,
well planned out.
It went all around the world. Now everybody wants to build a triangle towards the sky, by accident. Yeah, right. Man is one. We were all connected. Everybody's just cutting their face in stone. No, you had to learn that from somebody. Somebody made an Atari, and then somebody made a Nintendo. That's what I'm saying. But the scary part is it feels like we made the Nintendo, and now we can't pass the Atari.
Let me just say this. Those pyramids, it seemed like they got better with time. So they had experience from dynasty to dynasty, because the very elaborate one was the Great Pyramids that came later. That's obvious that engineering was an advanced engineering, because they did it. They was trying it a bunch of times.
Yeah, they failed. That's right. It caved. One of them caved in. And then there's a rule that you can't build one higher than your father. So, you had to do things according to the math and according to the traditions of your time.
So basically, I couldn't build a obelisk bigger than George Washington's. I'm stupid, yo. Yo, don't even mind me, yo. I'll be a host. I'm stupid. Don't mind me. Go ahead, bro.
but no, but yeah, as you can look across the world, um, we all had a plan to build these great temples that represented time. The actual word temple is connected to the word time. So the horoscope, the astrology, all of that, it was connected to our temples.
Can I just be honest? I really think black scholars, and I'm just a humble person. I just read here and there, so don't take my opinion too.
Nah, everybody.
Don't take my feeling like that.
Everybody is valid.
But I would like to say this one thing is that those black scholars that talk about the pyramids, the Great Pyramid specifically, and mummification, they never mention anything about their pursuit for immortality. It's almost like people bury that evidence of the culture like that's a bad thing. Like they pursue that people behave like that's a bad thing. They try to slip in and say no, it's not about really. It wasn't really about that. No, that's not really. But we can see that in other cultures too. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is this: those guys couldn't be that much different than we are today, man. I mean, you get money, you want to stay here. If you're doing good, you getting money, and you just picture you a pharaoh. You got all the concubines, you got all the gold, all the art. You go like this: somebody's coming. You already in heaven. Where you want to go?
But see, that's the thing. See, we've got to get that image of a king out of our head. What if a king?
I use a king as an example, but I mean anybody that's getting money and doing well.
Listen.
Right.
What if a king is just like a MC?
Mm-hmm.
There's great MCs and there's MCs that are not that great.
Right.
Okay? There's great police officers and there's officers that are the lowest of the low.
Mm.
There are great doctors and then there's slimy doctors.
Mm.
When are we going to admit that you could have just had a slimy king? You know what I mean? If your king is more righteous, he's going to rule, or she is going to rule, in a certain way where it benefits the whole. And now we're getting into the politics conversation. Because now you have to become political. You're dealing with groups of people. But I agree with you. They do leave out the immortality part because they don't understand it.
Yeah, and there's other scholars that's telling you immortality. Hold on, let me get this off. This is very important. There's other scholars saying that immortality is the engine of all civilization. That's what some scholars are saying. There's some anthropologists that's actually saying that. We might be missing something. We might be missing a key, man.
Nah. Okay. Here's the gem. If you were immortal physically, you would still.
We're talking about all types of ideas about immortality. It's not just physical.
Listen. So now I'm getting to the real immortality. This is the reality on how I understand it. All right. I had to charge my phone twice so we could have this conversation. Wow. So it's been 3 hours.
That's
we
crazy.
gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wrap it up strong. Boom. All right, cool. Where does energy come from? My batteries run out and I gotta change them. Even a sun is a battery. And eventually it will burn out. But it comes back. Don't we get new stars? That's my whole point. It's not only that you gotta come back, your galaxy has to come back. Your sun has to come back. Your sun is gonna explode.
Right, the heat death of the universe.
See, so the 25,000 I was talking about, there's a greater one that affects the universe. The 25,000 one, that's minor. It affects a planet. On a higher scale, even the universe is gonna fold back on itself. And we're gonna do it all over again.
But that's not the universe. I mean, that's not a living? That's the universe. I mean, I don't know, man.
The universe isn't living.
That's what I was gonna say.
So where does electricity come from? Like, the planet is the universe. When we talk about the universe, we think it's out there. When the planet is in the universe. If this napkin is the universe, then this joint, which is a bad example because it's too big, but this joint under my finger is the Milky Way. The Milky Way is in the universe. I hate when people separate man from nature.
Right.
It's like, no, you are a part of nature, even when you make a mistake. So we gotta stop thinking, oh, the universe, we are the universe right now, in a pocket in it where we could breathe. And we can enjoy a watermelon and a peach and water. And we have an atmosphere where sound can travel, so we can have voices. You see what I mean? We're in the universe. We look at planets as incubators. You ever see a hospital room with a bunch of babies?
Yeah.
That hospital room is a galaxy. And each incubator is a planet. Because the incubator represents having an atmosphere. We don't even know our oceans, and we want to talk about the universe. Get to the bottom of your ocean, then talk to me about Jupiter. We don't know nothing, but we have to remind ourselves that we don't know, and it gives us the opportunity to know. And I agree with a lot of what you said. It's just that I'm still on the side that consciousness is bigger than the brain. I mean, an atom has consciousness. So show me the brain in an atom.
I mean, isn't it the DNA? Isn't that
There
the
you
DNA
go.
It programs the cells?
There you go.
DNA? Isn't that DNA? The double helix.
There you go. You have DNA, you have bacteria, you have atoms. Atoms have been proven to have consciousness. They are alive. Okay? So this word consciousness needs to be reanalyzed because atoms are aware. An atom is aware just like your cat is. Just like an ant is. And look how small an atom is to an ant. And look how big a blue whale is to an ant. And that's all different phases of consciousness. So, where does all of this energy come from? And then it dissipates and then it comes back.
What do you mean it dissipates and comes back? What type of energy are you talking about?
Meaning energy, it just keeps transforming and then reappearing. And it makes you think. I think that's how we got all of these reincarnation stories. When man realized it just keeps coming back in different forms. It could be purple, it could be orange, it could be green. And then at a certain point, it's white and black. It's a deep science when you study color and vibration. It's a deep science. But yeah, you don't have to believe, and you don't have to disbelieve. Because nothing is impossible, but a lot of things are improbable. Let me say that again. Nothing is impossible. We're a lump of flesh talking right now. Okay? You could call yourself whatever, God, king, man. You are a lump of dirt and water, and you're talking. So nothing is impossible, but a lot of things are improbable. What is the probability that it'll happen? And, that's how I'm going to leave you with that. All I could tell you is that consciousness is bigger than the body. Of course, half the planet believes that, and they have their own way to explain it. And of course, the other half of the planet is like, whatever. The minute my brain is done, there's no more.
Right.
And that might be true with your body.
Yeah, this is a form of dualism.
Okay.
The idea that you might have two bodies is an old debate. You're dualist. You believe that there's another part of you that, that's beyond a body. I only feel like there's, after this, that's it.
I believe there's an aspect of me that is able to transform. I'm not talking about my bones, and I'm not talking about my kidneys, but there's a weird aspect to us that I am a dualist, because if I'm material, I'm also non-material. That's the Buddha. Buddha said, y'all just can't vanish in peace. Like, he said that in so many words.
Yeah.
Vanishing is about letting go. Vanishing is about letting go. You gotta let these worlds go. You gotta let your sex go. You have to let everything go.
Where's
You
it
know what I
going?
mean?
I mean, you know.
Yes, yes. So, so that's all I can tell you. Half the world is gonna say when my brain dies, that's it. The other half is thinking there's a little bit more to just our brain.
Yeah, I tend to think that that after this, my brain is the mind is just an abstraction of the brain. That's just my thoughts on that.
Okay, an abstraction. Indeed. Well, according to our studies, we have to eventually let go of the mind also. That's just another body. So, according to our ancient studies from Africa, India, China, and America, what we call the soul, it eventually has to be let go. So Buddha didn't say there wasn't a soul. He said the soul is not what you think it is. There's a difference. And people got confused. You see what I mean? He said you are these aggregates, and then you have to let them go. So he admitted that we are material and non-material. It comes with the package.
What do you mean non-material? I don't understand.
Meaning more subtle. Maybe that wasn't the proper way to phrase it.
Because as far as I see, when people die, I don't see them coming back. I never see nobody come back and say, "Yo, it's cool over here."
No. Exactly, and our lessons say that. That's true. That's totally true. However, it doesn't mean you won't come back in another place and time under a different condition. So what you know as Maitreya or Reese or super longevity, that's not gonna ever be back. This is unique. But the most real part of you will have a chance to live again. And who's to say that's as a man? Life is so big. What's wrong with being a whale? You're gonna have trials and tribulations in any body you get. If you're an ant, a whale, a cat, a black man, a white man, a woman. In any body you get, you're gonna be hungry.
This seems like this is like a otherworldly type of point of view that you can't prove. That's not proven. Number one. Number two,
can't prove a lot of things. We can't prove a lot of things.
I just think that we've been most black people believe that there's a soul. Most people believe in the idea of a soul, and most people don't want to believe in their own destruction. It's hard enough to deal with just common life, the average life. It's hard enough to just be an average person in this country, right? On top of that, you have to, most people don't want to take on the belief that after this there isn't anything else. You know what I'm saying? Embracing their mortality is not in part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? And when we say immortality, we don't mean metaphysical immortality. Science mean immortality like a jellyfish, right? That's what we mean. I just want to be clear. We mean biological immortality like a jellyfish.
No. And I'm sure we will be able to figure out how to regenerate like that again in a golden era. But let me add something to what you just said, because this is how I look at reincarnation. Look at it from a mathematic perspective. I look at reincarnation from the perspective of aliens. Do you think there's aliens?
I don't really think too much about that.
That's interesting. As big space is, you never pondered about some type of ET that lives somewhere?
Yeah, as a kid, as a youngin' coming up, I always looked up to the sky to see it. I always thought that, Hollywood does a job to you. Now, I don't really think about that much, man. I mean, I live a different life now, though, too. By the way, let me just keep it real.
That's a lot of space. Well, that's a lot of space out there for it just to be us.
I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just saying that it's not something that I think about.
No. But the point, just look at what I'm saying. Look at it from a math point of view. Bring me, me and you are calling in all the top scientists tonight. Bring me your highest mathematic people, and let's ask them, what's the percentage of an alien being out there?
I mean, what is that? What that's? I just feel like certain things.
Listen.
No, all right, I hear you, but I just feel like just let me just say this. I think that we just, it's just, what is that going to do for us? Nobody's coming here to save us.
The point, no, it's not about them saving us. I'm just asking you, are they out there?
But why? Why ask a question? For what? What purpose?
Listen to where I'm going with it.
All right.
It doesn't matter if they're violent or nothing. It's the point that they're there. And they have their own consciousness and their own society and language or whatever.
But what's the point?
The point that I'm driving at.
Not true. Not true personally, but what's the point of trying to find out if there's extraterrestrials or not? Is my point. What are we going to gain from that? What outcome are we going to gain from going out there just trying to use resources to go do that? That's what I'm asking.
No, it's not about us.
I'm just saying. I'm not. I don't have an opinion on it. I just want to know what you think. Why? What's the purpose? You might have a good reason.
No.
You might have a good reason that I need to know. I'm just asking. I'm genuinely asking you a question, not to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm genuinely want to know what you think about that.
I'm trying to explain that. Use the mathematics that what's the probability that there are other beings out there? There's mad galaxies. So if you could look at that math, then look at the math of you living again in a different space, time, and place. That's why it's called reincarnation. It's a whole new life.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe. The reincarnation is a very. So
it doesn't mean you have to believe. But again, you don't have to disbelieve it. And people have a hard time doing that. They have to pick a right or the left. And a higher level of consciousness is being able to be in that center.
Mm.
I don't have to believe it. I don't have to disbelieve it.
Mm.
The sun is going to come up tomorrow. It's going to rain. We're going to have lunch. So we get all emotional in what people believe. You could believe if you're going to be bad, you're going to get thrown into a lower animal. I don't believe that you're going to become a rat if you're Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm.
And little things like that. That's cute. That's something you tell a kid.
Mm.
But I think the essential teaching is that the most essential part of us, the so-called spirit, the most essential part of us is eternal.
Mm.
And what scares us is that part of us is nothingness. And because you can't explain nothingness, it bothers you.
Mm.
And that's what Buddha and that's what the great shamans of Egypt, this is what they knew.
Mm.
This is why the great shaman of Egypt doesn't have to be mummified in a temple that's in a giant building. There were great wizards in Egypt. They have a regular tomb. You see? But kings, they always gotta be fancy. They're the men of power. They're the men and women of power.
Mm.
So because you got a limo and I got a punch buggy, we both gonna die the same.
Mm.
So all
But kings
that
didn't die
money.
by themselves though. They had other people die with them, like the first
Oh
Emperor
yeah.
China.
Oh yeah. There were different traditions. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Their concubines had to go with them, right? That's crazy. You had to go with the king. He said, y'all gotta die too. Coming along with me.
Yeah. Now see, that's the part of it where it gets a little crazy, but yeah, you don't have to accept. This is why they would shy away from that stuff. Because they gotta have the hard conversation.
Yeah.
That people did weird shit based on beliefs.
Hmm.
But I don't care what you believe.
Hmm.
You have to know math to make that fucking building.
Right.
I don't care what you believe. You have to know math on another level. It's another level. Here's a clue for everybody that thinks Egyptians had helicopters. You dumb assholes.
Mm.
Their highest god was in a boat in space. Why was their highest god in a boat in space?
Mm.
Because the barge was the greatest piece of technology when they were around. What was greater than a boat? What was greater than a large vessel that could take 200 of y'all to Haiti?
Right.
And that's why there's cocaine and tobacco in the pharaoh's tombs. Because the pharaoh touched every part of this world. This is why the size of the planet is hidden in the pyramid. And Graham talks about that, and so do I.
Mm.
And I knew that when I was 13. I knew that when I met you.
Mm.
That's how old I knew that.
Right.
My father, God bless my father. My father taught me that.
Mm.
My father said the size of the world is hidden in the pyramid. That's how you know the black man went all around the world.
Mm.
Who else can boast that?
Mm.
Everybody else is a grandchild and a grandson. By the time you got around the world, we went around it 40 times.
Mm.
That's why when you look at the last king of Hawaii, he looks like me. We were everywhere. But now when you go to Hawaii, they look more Japanese. That came later because Japan is right there and they would come to the island. And then Dole, when the Dole Corporation took over Hawaii, more white people started to come. So you got white people and you got yellow people coming to an area where it was dark brown people.
Mm.
This is basics. Go look at the last king of Hawaii. He looked just like me.
Yo, me, you, and Grant Hancock gotta have a talk, yo.
We do.
We gotta have a talk, yo. We gotta have a talk about ancient civilizations. Then we gotta have a debate of reincarnation versus non-reincarnation. We gonna go in, yo. We gotta go in, yo.
I would love to hear his take on reincarnation.
I would like to hear, yo. I definitely need to reach out to him.
I want the viewer, before I go, I want the viewer to take everything I said honestly and review it. Go study it amongst other people. But don't just disregard me.
Right.
With if you're sincere with what I said, you're gonna get the most truth out of it.
Right.
Just be sincere with what we spoke about on this program tonight, and you'll get more answers on it.
Right.
And again, this is the hard part. You don't have to believe or disbelieve. You're leaving that little bit of room for possibility. But you're not just throwing it all out.
Right.
Because, like I said, if you're going to disregard what these people said, you need to show that you can be on their level. I can't disregard what Mike Tyson has to say about boxing unless I'm on his level. I can't go against Bruce Lee unless I'm on his level. So if you're gonna discredit what the wisest people on the planet said, you gotta be on their level. That's how I look at it. And I think we're just supposed to take it with a pinch of salt. Because no matter how wise they were, they not here right now.
Right.
So it's back to the drawing board. We're in one of those ebb and flows where we kind of have knowledge, but we're lost. And we have to admit that. When they was doing those pyramids, they was on another level. And that's all over the world. Because it was original people all over the world. And it was a grand system. That's why There's neck rings in Thailand, but there's a neck ring in Ethiopia. There's lip rings in Ethiopia, but there's lip rings in South America.
Right.
Why does everyone have the same jewelry, the same stories, the same pyramids, the same thou shalt not kill, steal, lie? We all wrote this all down because we had to steal and lie before anybody. So when the black man gets all hyped about him creating society, he needs to realize that he was an antagonist to his own self. There was no other man here to do anything to you. You did everything to yourself first. You lied to yourself. You stole. There was nothing but black on black crime. There was no one else alive. Then we went through mutations. There was some mutations and there was some mixing and crossbreeding. We have this illusion of race. It's an illusion. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
If you can procreate with the person, they're the same species as you. End of story. It's no different than a white cat getting with a black cat. It's no different than a tan cat getting with a brown cat. They're all cats. That's the only way they can procreate. So this illusion of race, tribe is real. We're the tribe in the mountains. Y'all are the tribe that are in the valley. So understanding your tribe is okay. But this idea of race, that was made up in the 1600s.
Right.
And people identifying with a language and a shade. Now we're going back to the noun. Now we're fighting the adjectives and the nouns. How are you a language? I'm Spanish. No, you speak Spanish.
Right.
I'm black. I'm purple. I'm green. And then we have the nerve to say, I'm black and Italian. What does that mean? So now one of your parents has a food, a flag, a language. I could take an airplane to Italy. Can I take an airplane to blackness? So we done lost our understanding of nationality, tribe, which is important. That's your clan. Your clan is in your tribe. Your tribe is a part of a nation. And nations are filled with different ethnicities. So you can have two ethnicities that are under a nation, or 5, or 100, or 10. So the point is, we done forgot how to talk. We're so busy being a language and a color and a shade. You know what I mean? We got trained to just say I'm black instead of remembering I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican, I'm Arawak, I'm this.
That's why I say I'm hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
That's my tribe. That's my tribe.
now, now see, that's a particular place and time.
We now need, and that's why I say now, if we're in agreement that we're hip hop, now we need a city. Shout out to KRS-One and Hakeem.
I agree with you that all cultures need their own landmass.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And we generate so much money, we could easily have a state.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the rest of the brothers and sisters ain't talking about this, but
They're not they're not as wise yet.
Mm.
Remember, they're walking around, they're calling themselves crayons. If you're still calling yourself a crayon, you're not thinking on the level of having a hip hop state. Cause you still purple and blue and green and red, whatever the fuck that is. When the original man is, we're brown people. There's a dark brown and there's a light brown, but it's essentially brown and symbolically called black. See, that's the thing with symbols. It's symbolically black. If I was black, you wouldn't be able to see me.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. And I seen a debate with,
and they're not white, they're pale.
Right.
They're blank. They're blank. So when you say it in Spanish, you're saying it actually closer. They're blanco, blank, but they're not white, not literally. See, these are figurative terms that we're stuck under.
So why not more people just say, yo, you know what? I'm hip hop. Why we haven't taken it to that level yet?
Like I said,
just agree upon that's the move. That's it right there.
Like I said though, but see, there's always a division. If you're hip hop, someone wants to be punk rock.
That's fine. I'm not mad at them.
I'm not mad at nothing.
I just want to agree with a group of people that feel the same way I do. Think the same way I do.
I feel the same way. Hip hop is unique and it's still young, but it is a very wise culture, and we have enough power to do what we want. But we're not thinking. We're still thinking low. We're still thinking about clothes and food chains and dumb shit like that. We're still thinking about that when we have the power to have a hip hop state. And
let me ask you another quick question. Damn, shit. Do you believe that America had a foundation stone? I know this came out of nowhere.
A foundation stone?
Yeah. Do you think America had a foundation stone?
What do you mean?
In architecture, there's always a foundation stone. Because when I was doing my studies, let me just, when I was doing my studies at East West, there was a guy named Bob Hieronymus. I used to read his books. He actually came on the show. I actually kicked it with him, and I got a written interviews. He lives in Baltimore. He's an older gentleman that does murals, by the way. You know what I'm saying? He came on the show. And he's like the only living historian on the reverse of the United States seal. See, a lot of people don't really know. I did a lot of studying over the years. Like because they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really that vocal. You know what I'm saying? But I read a lot of his books. You know what I'm saying? And he's the only living historian on the United States seal. And he told me the story on how when I did the research and I spoke to him, he told me how the reverse of the United States still ended up on a dollar bill. He definitively told me how that ended up on a dollar bill. And
Nice.
Those group of, there was a group of people who believed that there was actually a foundation stone of America and that it was missing. And that hold on, let me just add this one more thing. And some people even believe that the stone is actually the same idea as a holy grail. Have you heard anything in your travels or studies or anything on
Yes.
dealing with that?
Yes.
Any holy grail studies?
Yes. If we're going to talk about a holy grail, then this is definitely a myth.
Mm-hmm.
But it has undertones and something that's true, because the real cornerstone of the society is the people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you said earlier today, the whole city had to be behind that.
Right.
So the real cornerstone is the people.
Right.
Symbolically, I'm using symbolism.
Right.
Because it's all symbolic. If you're going to compare the stone to a holy grail,
the stone is the grail,
then that's just a masonry tale. It's a cute masonry tale that they're using in reference to that. That's what I'm projecting from it. But I would say the real cornerstone is the people.
Right.
Because I don't care what building is there. You had to build it and you had to put it there.
Right.
A hospital, a fire building, a school, a building for citizens and tenants. You had a supermarket. You had to place that building there with ingenuity, timing, and math. So you, the architect, the people that were moving those 70-ton blocks and 200-ton blocks, it's on y'all. Y'all are the real cornerstone. Because it's thousands of years later and people are fighting over what you created. Now, the attempt to be immortal, you know damn right that your body can't do that. So it's like you do a ceremony of the sending off of your greater energy. Now, is that energy gonna merge with Ra? That's the highest heaven, according to the scriptures. Or are you gonna be reincarnated to live a world of dualities again? Up and down, left and right, hate and love, or I should say hate and I should say love and not caring, because to not care is the opposite of love. To be indifferent. Hate is actually like a twisted love. You actually care about someone when you hate them. So will you be forced to live out this heaven and hell duality on this lower plane? Or will you just transcend to a higher level, a level that we can't even perceive right now? Because remember, when you're not in your realm, you can't perceive it. If I asked you to stay underwater for 20 minutes right now, you would look at me like I'm crazy. But a whale does it, and he still has to breathe. But he could be underwater that long. So when you enter another realm where your vehicle is not suited, you understand? We're on a planet where our vehicle works. This vehicle doesn't work in another situation. So, again, if you're here now, look at everything it took to bring you here. Your parents, your grandparents. There's so much history to why me and you are right here. And are we gonna just make this an accident? We have grandparents, great grandparents, and it all helped build up to what we are now. So all I'm saying is remain open-minded that there is something greater than this physical existence. Can I prove that to you?
Mm-hmm.
No. And you can't unprove it.
I'll leave it like that right there. I think that's
And
a perfect
that's
way. Huh?
and that's why, because we can't prove it or unprove it,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we will neither believe it or disbelieve it.
I'll leave it right there. Happy 25th anniversary. The year of the ox.
It's the 20th. It's the 20th.
The 20th
Yeah, it's the
anniversary. I don't know why I don't know why I keep giving you 25 years. I think it just sounds good. It just sounds good. The 20th year. Yo, happy 20th anniversary, Vass. Vote Omega, happy anniversary, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoyed your music over the years. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all putting mad work for the culture, man. I think more people need to know about y'all. Y'all been doing your thing. Those last two cuts is ridiculous. Those last two tracks is dope. Y'all hitting it. Yo, I let mad people hear that. I shared it like crazy. I definitely shared it.
We working hard. Again, there's a lot of possibilities.
No doubt.
You know, when you study metaphysics, you start to realize that there's different planes of existence. There's this is my last point.
All right.
Look at the triglycerides, the troglodytes. Look how strong they are. Like, look at the temperatures that they can withstand. And if you don't know, for the reader, if you don't know who I'm talking about, it was those little creatures in Ant-Man. And they almost ate Ant-Man. But look what Ant-Man can do. He can reduce himself to a subatomic universe. You don't get it. You don't get it. You have creatures crawling on you right now that you can't even see. So that's my point. If there's a creature on you that you can't see right now, there are creatures right here that I can't see or feel, then imagine on a macro level where life can go. So you have to be open-minded. You don't have to believe nothing. I don't care if your grandmother said it. but respect your grandmother and leave open possibilities. You don't have to believe her, but you don't have to disbelieve her. And that's the hardest thing for us. And with that, I'm going to say peace.
Peace. Thank you, man. That was crazy. One love, y'all. Peace.
Much love.